Welcome back everyone to Board Game Breakdown. I'm Chris and I will be talking about Canvas today. This was a Kickstarter from Road to Infamy or R2i Games back in, I think they started the Kickstarter in 2020. It was released in 2021. It's a neat little open drafting game where you're drafting these cards and managing your hand. But the difference is the cards, as you can see, are clear. They have just a little bit printed on them, some things down here, and what you're attempting to do is create 3 of them that you layer over each other to make these paintings. And then depending on how you layer them, which elements are showing down here will give you certain points depending on the game. And you go back and forth between another player, drafting the cards, trying to make the paintings. It also has a solo variant, actually 2 solo variants that are printed in the rulebook, and that's what I'm going to be concentrating on today in this video. So what I'll do is we'll kind of do a quick setup. I'll go over that. We'll talk about the rules, some of the things I like about the components, and then I will do a quick playthrough of both solo variants, one where you play against an AI type player, and then another one where it's more like a solo puzzle. I'll give you a taste of both of those, and then off camera I'll finish one of the games, come back, show you how to score so you can get a feel for how you actually go about winning the game. So thanks for tuning in. Again, before we continue, hope that you can check out the website boardgamebreakdown.com. We're also on YouTube. If you look that same handle up, you can see our channel where we post all the videos. The website is mainly for the written reviews, but we also have links there for the videos. And then you can also hit us up on Instagram, where board.game.breakdown is our Instagram handle. Post pictures, we can comment back and forth. Always feel free to reach out and let us know what you think about the videos. If you know of a game that you might want to see us review, either on video or in written form, just drop us a line and let us know. All right, so with that, let's get started with Canvas. All right, so here is the setup portion of the game Canvas. Here we go, beautiful cover. Set that over there. All right, so just to start out, to clarify, this is not the way the rulebook suggests that you set the game up. I think I saw a post either on Instagram or on Reddit or maybe Board Game Geek. Someone had posted their scores for a game that they completed, and they had this set up this way, and I really liked it. Doesn't really matter how it's set up as far as what I'm going to show you, whether you do it this way or in the rule book, because it's not really going to have any effect on the game itself. So feel free to follow this or the way that the rulebook lays it out. So first you'll see your play mat here. So we'll go ahead and fill that up. So I like to put my ribbons on each of these colored spots. So we'll dump out our red ribbons here. Just make a little pile. Got our green ribbons. So each of these ribbons are going to be assigned to one of the scoring cards we're going to pick out. And that will determine how you win the ribbons. The ribbons will end up getting counted at the end of the game to determine your victory points. Purple ones. And lastly, we have these gray ones here that are like bonus ribbons. So they go on this little area over here. You'll see that you get 2 points for every bonus ribbon. Whereas the other ribbons, like I said, are going to be assigned to a scoring card. So that's how those work. I do want to point out, like, each ribbon is a different size or like different cutout outline. It's not a huge deal, but I really like how they decided to differentiate them in that way. Just a little nice detail. They didn't have to do that. They could have just left them all the same shape and just had them different colors, but they chose to put that little detail in there, which I like. So next up we have our box here of the art cards. So if you know anything about this game, then you will recognize that these are the cards that you have that are clear. So see a couple of them here, and these are going to get shuffled up, which I've already shuffled up most of them, placed in this box, a little card holder, and that's going to go here. And then we'll draw some out of there in just a second. Next, we have our little art tokens. We just need to put these in a pile off to the side. When I get to the playthrough, I'm going to show you a little bit of each of the solo variants. There's 2 printed in the book, and these will come in handy for those. They can also be used in the multiplayer version. It allows you to spin them to pick up a card that's further down this track. Alright, so now let's look at the 3 different, well, there's 2 more decks of cards and then a third if you got the Kickstarter. So let's look at these real quick. So you have this deck here that is all background cards. So these are just kind of for fun to slide into your little sleeves here. So I'm just going to draw 3. I don't really care what they are, but each player would grab 3 of them. And then they take them and they take these handy clear card holders or sleeves and they slide them into there. And this is what's going to hold the 3 art cards. Those ones with the clear background, or the clear backgrounds and something printed on them. And they're going to stack up and layer them over these to make paintings that are eventually going to score you the points. Alright, the second set of cards are these scoring cards. So we're just going to grab one here. I'll show you. So this one is called Movement. So they have a title at the top, and then it tells you that you need 3 matching elements. Those are what those 4 little emblems are in a row. So you could have 3 of the little suns, 3 of the triangles, and they have to match it to be in a row. You'll see down at the bottom there is the scoring criteria. So if you get 1 painting, which would be 1 ribbon, with 3 matching elements in a row, you're going to score 3 points. If you end up having, at the end of the game, 2 paintings that scored these, you'll get 7 points. If you had all 3 paintings score this, you'll get 12 points. So you'll see that if you can kind of center on a couple of these scoring cards and get a lot of paintings with them, you'll rack up your points quicker. So that's one example. Also, like on the back here is some clarification. So every card has a clarification. So if you forget what it means, or if you're a new player and you've not really played with a lot of these, they are really good about giving you some text and then even some photo examples of how to score this. So that comes really in handy. I like that it's on the card and not just printed in the rule book, because then at any moment when you're playing, you can grab up one of your 4 scoring cards, flip it over, and get the details there. So I'm just going to shuffle these up and then pick out 4. There are scenarios in the rule book. I talk about them a little more in depth in my written review on the website. If you want to check that out, it just kind of helps you choose 4 cards instead of randomly choosing them. But for this playthrough, we're going to just throw for out here. So I've got composition, variety, proportion, and hierarchy. So what I'm going to do is go into detail on the playthrough portion of what each of those actually is going to score me. So I'll talk about that then. For right now, we're just going to continue to set up. So lastly is this Kickstarter deck of cards. They are, I think that they're called awards. But what these do, as you can see here, the Canvas Award is for the most, I think that's a bonus ribbons, or maybe that's just all ribbons. You'll see they have different paint splatters up there. So there's an orange side, and then there's also a purple side. So one of them is more competitive, one of them is more, I guess, is friendlier. But they recommend using these in multiplayer games. You pick one of these, and then that's an extra kind of achievement to go for, and whoever gets the achievement scores those extra points at the end of the game. So kind of a neat little way to, entice people to join the Kickstarter back when it was going, get some extra cards. I am not going to play with those for the solo playthrough, so I'm going to put those back to the side, but I really just wanted to kind of show you what those were as part of the components list. All right, so then lastly, all we need to do is take our art cards here and lay them out. So I'll pull them out from the card box and fill them in from the left. Like that. So we've got those. And then we're basically ready to start. Other than there is something with these, but I'm going to wait because depending on what solo variant, 1 or 2 that you're playing with, it's going to change how many of those we want out on the table. So what we'll do is we'll jump over and do a quick couple rounds of solo play number 1, and then we'll switch over to solo play number 2, and then I'll probably just finish that off camera and then come back and show you how to score. So give me 1 minute and I'll come back for the first playthrough. So here we have the setup from the first section of the video, ready to play variant number 1, which is called Painting with Vincent. So Vincent is our AI player who is going to basically just take some art cards throughout the game so that we cannot. He does not really ever score points or put together paintings. He's just solely there to take cards from us, as well as taking the little art palette tokens. So it's harder for us to buy things that we might want. So what I want to do real quick is go over the 4 scoring cards. So here is composition. So what we want there is to have each of the color swatches taken up by an icon. So we want all color swatches being used on each painting. Variety, we want 1 of each of the elements on each painting. Proportion is 3 matching elements of any type, and then an additional 2 matching of a different type of element. And then hierarchy, you want the sun, which is the symbol for tone. You want more or equal suns to than every other element. So we want a lot of those tone icons across our paintings to score those points. Okay, so that's our scoring criteria that we want to keep in mind. We also have 4 of the art tokens down here that we can use to spend, and then Vincent has his 4 up here that he will use on his turn, which I'll show you in a second. So we're going to take our first turn, and the way that works is we are going to draw an art card. So if we take the leftmost one, then it is free. If we would like this one, we have to take one of our art tokens, place it here. Then we could pick this up if we wanted to. Same thing as we go down the line, we drop a token on each one. And what that does is that now makes this card, whoever takes it, either Vincent or myself the next time, gets an art token back. So there's a little bit of a cost to buying the ones further down the line, though these are going to move this way as we refill, but the longer we wait to get them, the more chance that Vincent has to collect on them. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this first one that is free. You'll see it has the tone icon. We know we want some of those, so we want to take that. I'll just put it back here. Now one thing is you can only have a maximum of 5 cards. Once you have 5 of these art cards, you are forced to stack 3 of them into one of your backgrounds, which then completes the painting, and that is what you're going to score at the end of the game. So you cannot just hoard cards. You do have a little bit of a timer here that we need to collect the right types of cards in order to make the paintings with the best collection of icons, depending on those cards that we went over at the beginning of the game. So once we take our turn, we slide all these down. And then we'll take a new one out of the box and put it right there. Now, it is Vincent's turn. So the way Vincent works is you will pick up his tokens, and you're going to roll them, like I said, dice. And for every one that is turned upside, right side up, I guess you would call it, he is going to place that on the first card. These 3, since they're upside down, is just going to go over here, and he will take this card since he laid a token on that. So this card is just going to go over to his stack. Again, no points are going to be scored. It's just there to solely remove that from the game so that we cannot get it. And a new one comes out, and it's back to us. So we do have this card. So we want, we're on track for the tones. We're also on track for these varieties. This one, the second one over here, one of each. And we also want to remember fill up every color swatch. So what we could do is maybe look at this treasure chest, because if I take the treasure chest, and you'll see, lay it over this, then what we're looking at is all we needed would be a triangle to get all 4. We do have more suns right now than everything else, and if that triangle ends up being in the blue section, then we're filling up everything. So I think that is a good choice for right now. So in order to take that, I've got to place a token here and a token here. Then we slide these down, take out a new card, and we're ready to go. So you can see this is pretty fast moving solo play. There's not a lot of upkeep. This variant does have some luck here because Vincent is going to be controlled by this dice roll mechanism. We'll throw those out. So this is going to go here, and he's going to pick up this token and take this card. Now you'll see that first card has 3 tokens on it, so that's pretty nice. So it might not be a card I necessarily want to stack with this painting I'm making, But because I'm allowed to hold 5 cards, that could go towards the next painting. So we could kind of store it off to the side and get all those tokens. Remember, we want tokens because it's going to allow us to buy things that are further down the line. Because if we do get one of these blue triangles to come out, then we might really want that. So I'll go ahead and take these 3. That might not be the smartest move, but I'll go for it. Set it here. Slide these down. Alright, so it's Vincent's turn. Roll his out there. So he's got 1 right side up. That'll go there. And he gets the whale card. One of the whale cards. We got 2 whale cards out, huh? And boom. So I'll take my last turn. So it doesn't look like I'm going to get a blue triangle. But let's see if we can at least hit on one of these other ones. So what we'll do is we'll take this one. I'll show you why. So let's put that there, take this. So if we layer it so that the blue is showing like this, let's just go ahead and slot this in. We wouldn't slot this in normally right now. We would take a turn to slot it in, but because I want to just show you how this would score, we'll go ahead and do it. Alright, so remember for composition we want 1 in every color, so we have 1 in every color. So that would give us a 1 red ribbon back here. For the green, we want 1 of every element. Remember, I have no triangles, so we would not get that. For proportion, we want 3 of one element, 2 of another. So you'll see I have 3 of the tone, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 of the square elements. So we would get this blue ribbon. And then the last one was hierarchy, where we wanted more of these suns than anything, which we have 3 of, and everything else is less than that. So we would also get a purple token. We would get no bonus tokens for this. Sometimes there's things on the bottom that tell you that you would get a bonus for every sun or every color wheel, whichever, depending on what the bonus is. We don't have any of those, so no gray tokens. So this one scores us 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 purple ribbon. And at the end of the game, we would end up counting up those different colored ribbons, and they would help determine what the points are. So that's a piece of how we would play this first solo variant with Vincent. What I'm going to do is quickly reset this up, and then I will play a couple of rounds of the second variant, which we do not have an AI player. Instead, we will control the way the cards are picked up, and it's much more like a puzzle. So give me a minute to reset, and then we'll look at that variant. Alright, welcome back. I've reset the game. I put out some new art cards. Scoring cards are still the same, so we don't have to go over that. And we're going to look at how you go about playing the second version that is printed in the rulebook, which this one is more of a puzzle, solo puzzle, rather than having an AI or a fake player playing against you like we did in the first one. So you'll see that there is still 4 tokens over here. This time, instead of those being Vincent's, that's like a pool that I'm going to take from and give to, and then we also start out with 4 down here. So the difference in this version is if I want to take this card, I am not going to place a token here. I am simply going to take a token and put it into the pile. So I'm only going to have these 4 at the beginning to take from. So then that I could take this card and I could push it over. If I ever take the left card, then I get to retrieve a token. put it back into my pool. Whenever I take a turn to complete a painting, I will also take a token, unless these 4 are out. So I'm going to kind of be giving and taking the tokens to the pool. So unlike the first variant, you're never going to see any of these cards leave the game. I'm always going to have control of what cards are out there, but it's really going to come down to, do I have enough tokens to take the ones that I want at any given time. All right, so let's play a few rounds of this, kind of see how it works differently. Definitely takes the luck out of it, as you're not doing the dice roll mechanism as we did in the first one. So to start out, I think I'm going to just go ahead and grab this one. I like that it has the 2 suns on it. I think that's a pretty easy score card to work on. And because I took the leftmost one, I get an extra token here. So we'll slide these down. Pull the next one out. All right, so again, Vincent doesn't go because he's not in the game, so it's still our turn. And we can look here and see our options. So don't really like that all these are yellows, because then that means any of these are going to cover up my yellow triangle and yellow sun, kind of negating that whole situation. So maybe we'll take one with the thought process of using it to start a different painting. So let's do this. We'll take 2 of our tokens, put them in this pile. We'll skip these 2 and we'll take this one. I might use that for a different painting later on. All right. So I like this one because it would fill in the red and the blue of my first one here. I wouldn't have to cover up anything. I do have 3 of these. If I take that, I will have to use them all up. So what the heck? Let's do it. Put all 3 in the pile over there. So we'll skip 1, 2, 3. We'll take this one, and I'm going to want to pair it up with this card because I'm trying to get the composition. But I'm really not going to score too much more than that, so maybe that's not a good choice, but we'll see what happens. So in this variant, you end up seeing a lot less cards come out because none are leaving the row like they were in the first variant. So you really kind of got to deal with what is coming out and make the best of that. So I'm kind of rethinking my decision down here on what I picked. All right, so I don't have any tokens, so I'm forced to pull this leftmost one, and then I get a token as my reward for having to choose that one. All right, so you will see that I am got 4 cards, and if you'll remember from the first variant, you can only have 5 at a time. So basically, once I pull my next one, I'm going to have to make a painting. So right now I'm looking at putting these 2 together for the 2 suns and the 2 triangles. If I can get 1 more sun, then I could score the hierarchy. I could also score 3 matching plus 2 matching being the triangles. I do have this. If I slot that like this, then I could score the 3 and the 2 and the most suns. I would not score the composition because I'm missing something there. I also don't have the color wheel. That's not helpful. Alright, so maybe, but let's see what else is on the board. And remember, I only have one of these, so it's basically down to this or this when it comes to those. So those aren't all that helpful. So maybe I'll start looking at what would be best for these. Or you know what I could do? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and I'm going to use this. You don't have to wait till you have 5. As soon as you have 3 that you want, you can take a turn to slot these together. So I'm going to slot these in. Let's just pick this middle one here. Let's go ahead and slide them in there. If I can get them in. There we go. One thing that I haven't mentioned is it's got names on each of the cards. Sometimes it covers up some of the names, but this one is just called Heavy. It's kind of a silly name. But that's going to be it for that card. I'll go and put it to the side. I'm going to score them at the end in a different section. So we'll go and put this over here, and that will be that one. So I got 2 more to do. So in this variant, taking or creating a painting does give me a second thing. So now I went ahead and did that because now I have more cards that I can put in my catalog, since I can only have a maximum of 5, and now I only have 1 since those other 3 made a painting, and I got another token here, so it gives me some more flexibility. So I think that gives you a good understanding of how this variant plays. I'm going to off camera finish this game, and then I'll come back and I'm going to show you how I scored on the 3 paintings. Alright, so I finished the game for the solo variant, solo puzzle number 2. I really don't think I did very well, but we'll go ahead and take a look and see how these fare. So first I'm going to show you each painting, and we'll go over how many ribbons it would get. So this one is called Heightened Imagination. So we have basically all of the color swatches being used. So that's going to give us a red ribbon. I'm going to put it back here so I know that I scored it, or that I collected it. We do not have all of the different elements. We do not have 3 of the elements plus 2 of the others, and we don't have more suns. So we really didn't score all that great. But you will see on this right side that purple says 2 times whatever icon is to the left, and that icon says we get a bonus for every of the sun. So instead of 1 bonus, we get 2 bonus for this. So we get 2 of these. And these are 2 points at the end of the game. So we'll go ahead and grab these, and we'll just set those bonus ones here. Alright, so next painting we have here is the first one I had done earlier in the sample. It's just called Heavy. So we do not use all the color swatches, so we don't get a red ribbon. We will, however, get a... No, we won't even get a variety ribbon because we didn't have all that. But we do have 3 suns and 2 of something else, so we'll take a blue ribbon. And we have more of the suns than anything else, so that gives us a purple ribbon. And then our last painting here is this one called Divine Dread. So we did not use all of the color swatches. We did score 1 for the variety, so we will get a green ribbon. We don't have 3 matching of anything else, and we don't have more suns. But you again will see that emblem on the, that purple is the bonus, so we will get 1 bonus for this. So honestly, that is probably one of the worst scoring games I've had. We didn't get almost any ribbons whatsoever, but that's how it goes sometimes. Again, the solo variant number 2, even though it takes the look out of it, you see a lot less cards. So if the cards aren't coming out that are going to work towards the scoring cards that you've pulled for that in that particular game, it is pretty hard to get the right combinations out. So if you look over here, we had one ribbon, so that's 1 point. Basically have one ribbon of each, so we'll take the leftmost. So 1, 4 is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we had these down here, which is 2, 4, 6. So we scored 17. So that is absolutely horrible. That is in the first little tier of the scoring chart that is printed in the rulebook. This is one of those games that you basically are really going against your highest score each time, but they do give you a little table of what you're trying to accomplish point-wise. 17 again is in the lowest, but hopefully this at least shows you how you give the ribbons out to the different paintings and how those score. So that concludes the video. I hope that it has given you a chance to see Canvas in action so you can make a decision on whether or not this light card drafting layering game is right for you. Please make sure to visit the website, boardgamebreakdown.com. I have a full text review written up there of this game. Goes into some more details of what I really like and don't like with it. Also plenty of other written reviews, other board games, also links to the YouTube channel and to our Instagram channel. On Instagram, we are brd.game.breakdown. That's the Instagram handle. If you want to look us up there, post plenty of pictures and have some discussions in the comments about it. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos. I really enjoy making them and hope that they bring some information to you so you can make a good decision on your next board gaming purchase. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later.